Hello and welcome to the I Can Do podcast with Benjamin Lee. We're here to talk about tips and strategies to have an I Can Do mindset. Life is what you put into it. Get the most you can. Here's your host, Benjamin Lee.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of the I Can Do podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. Season 5, episode number 5. I hope and pray that you are having a fantastic day, a fantastic week, an epic week. I have to tell you, last week was really fun. I don't know if that's even the right word. It was a roller coaster. It was an adventure. There were new experiences. I had the opportunity to go to Oregon and preach the gospel there in Beaverton, Oregon. So I got to hit state number 32 and I got to visit the state of Washington. So one of my goals is to visit all 50 states. And so I hit state number 32 and number 33. I got the opportunity to visit Mount St. Helens, which was just fantastic. I had an adventure on the way home. I flew out of Portland. My original flight got canceled. Flew out of Portland, went to Sacramento, hung out there for a few hours, maybe an hour and a half, flew to Vegas. I couldn't get off the plane, so that doesn't count. I have not been to Nevada, so that doesn't count as visiting the state. And then eventually flew back into Dallas. So we landed about 11 o'clock last Wednesday. And so it's been almost a week, and my sleep is still not where it needs to be. But nonetheless, it was just a fantastic week. My wife and I, Nikki, we stayed up late one day last week, till 3 a.m, which was really fun. We talked, we laughed, we thought about the future. We talked about the future. A really fun evening/morning. Then this past Saturday, I had the opportunity to MC a fundraiser for a really special nonprofit group called Sacred Selections. Sacred Selections was created by David and Dana Carraza. I did a podcast with them last year. Check out that interview here on this podcast or on my platform. They have just changed lives for the better. It's really encouraging. 395 babies have been adopted and put into Christian homes, which has been really great. And we raised $217,000. There were about 200 in attendance. It was sold out last Saturday night in Dallas. Fantastic show, so encouraging. So I got to experience that. Then Sunday I got to worship with Christians. I got to preach. I had a great parenting Bible study where one of our pastors is teaching that study on Sunday nights, which was really good, really encouraging for Nikki and myself as we think about our son and the path that we want him to take one day. So I'm sharing all of this because I'm still in a really great place. Thank the Lord. God is providing. God is good. He always provides. And it's just been a blessing to be able to spend time and to do things that have a kingdom purpose, that are changing lives for the better. That's what it's all about, right? So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. I want to share with you something that I've noticed the last couple of weeks that I've seen in myself more than the last couple of weeks, and also in other individuals. It's the idea of an all or nothing mentality. Have you ever experienced something like that? It's like an all or nothing kind of way of living. Sometimes we do this with food. You start a meal plan, you start a new diet on Sunday, or you start a new diet on Monday, and you mess up. Maybe you eat one cookie or a Werther's Original piece of candy, which I like, by the way. I haven't had one of those in a long time. But you say to yourself, man, I just messed up. And so now this all or nothing mentality leads you to, or can lead even me to say, oh, well, might as well eat terrible the rest of the day. I guess I'll just go down this path. I missed my workout. I didn't get to exercise the last 2 days. So I guess I just won't exercise for the next 5 days. Have you ever done that to yourself? This all or nothing kind of thinking? Don't get me wrong, that's important in certain situations, I think, where there are deadlines sometimes where we have to get it done. But even in situations like that, those may not always be the best way, or that may not always be the best way to go about a task. If we can break a task down little by little, then that really changes how we can get things done more efficiently without as much stress. And so we don't even have to worry about like this all or nothing mentality. What I want to suggest to you today and for this week is to consider that you don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all. Now, what I mean by that is that there are plenty of things that we have to get done. I understand that, and so do you. But we don't necessarily have to get everything done in one day, or in 1 hour, or in one afternoon. Take something like cleaning the house. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you look around the house, it's not as clean as it should be. Maybe it's not up to your standards. And you say, you know what? I'm just going to spend the next 5 or 6 hours cleaning the house. Now, you can do that and you can get the house done with that all or nothing approach. I'm just going for it. I'm going to do all of it right now. But you don't have to do it all. In fact, maybe you just start off with one room. Because what can happen sometimes is that when we have this all or nothing approach, I have to get it all done today, that other things begin to fall by the wayside. So then we get into this cycle of, I have this done, but now I have this project that I haven't completed. So what this seems to be tapping into is how we think about certain situations, number one, how we respond when maybe we don't stay on track as we should, number two, and just approaching our day-to-day affairs, our day-to-day routines, our day-to-day habits in the appropriate way. So let's talk a little bit about that. All right, so as we think about this idea that we don't have to do it all, number one, I want you to think about what Jesus said in Matthew chapter 6. Jesus said in Matthew 6 and verse 33 and 34, he said, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will care for itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." So as we think about this mindset of all or nothing, I got to get everything done, it's important just to stay in today. Success today, not tomorrow, not next week or next month or next year. Yes, we have to plan for the future. You find examples like Joseph when he was in Egypt in the book of Genesis. He had to save because there was a famine that was coming. I get that. We have to plan for the future. But too often we just get so caught up in everything that hasn't even happened. So we have to, number one, stay in today. Focus on today. Don't worry about tomorrow. That's what Jesus says. Do not worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow take care of tomorrow. Today really wants your attention. Today really wants my attention. Today is probably upset because we don't give enough attention to today, but we just keep looking at and admiring and fearing tomorrow. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today says, I got you. I got you. You're okay. Just stay right here. 10 and 2. So all or nothing mentality, just number one, stay focused today. Number two, understand that a little by little approach is probably going to be much more easier for you. If you just say, okay, look, today I'm just going to eat one less cookie or drink one less Coke or Pepsi or watch one less Netflix show, or today I will do one extra load of laundry, or today I will wash one of the cars. Well, see, now that changes everything. Now you don't have to spend maybe 5 or 6 hours or however long it may take to wash a car or 2 cars or 3 cars, or if you have a fleet of cars. Does that make sense? So you don't have to do it all. You don't have to radically change your meal plan and eating today. So if you're trying to improve in your fasting, okay, well, maybe you fasted 6 hours the night before or 10 hours. Go for 15 or 20 minutes. You don't have to do it all right now. This kind of approach will help you to win and to be successful and to really keep an I can do kind of mentality, mindset. It's a smaller approach. It's going slower to go faster. It's breaking things down. I've talked about this with my Full Focus Planner. I just helped someone out recently with their Full Focus Planner, where it's designed to break things down that makes it easier for the goals to be accomplished. I don't think you see any planner that's out there that just says, okay, accomplish all of this right now, immediately. That's very hard to do. All or nothing is sometimes, it can be a very detrimental way of thinking. Now, again, there are certain moments, right? And there are certain things, don't get me wrong with that, where there are things that we will just have to sever, things we will have to cut. When you think about it from a spiritual standpoint, yeah, we got to do that with certain things, right? So I'm not saying with respect to sin and things like that, but I am saying the things that often weigh us down are some of the day-to-day tasks where we feel so overwhelmed and then we just don't do anything. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Take a smaller approach, break down what it is that you want to do, stay in today, and see how your life improves for the better. You listen to a new podcast, maybe that podcast has 100 episodes. You can't listen to all of them today, but you can listen to one, or maybe you can listen to one when you're in the car. Breaking it down, going slow to go fast. This is how eventually you can get to where you want to be in a much more easier manner, relaxing trip than trying to get it all done in an instant. I hope this helps. Give me some feedback with what you think about this. Start small, keep growing, get bigger, and you will be able to accomplish even more. I want to end by saying thank you. Thank you. I have some new supporters for this podcast who are financially supporting this podcast. I just want to give you a big shout out to say thank you. You know who you are, and I really appreciate it. If you are interested in supporting the I Can Do podcast, certainly I would greatly appreciate it. And you can find a link in the show notes where you can click that. And if you want to make a small donation, you can. 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. As this will go to this podcast to improve in it so that I can continue to provide you with tips, strategies, resources, interviews, so that we can continue to have an I Can Do mindset. Thank you so much. Take care, and God bless. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. If you are in the need or looking for more motivation in your life, feel free to check out my website, benjaminlee.blog, where you can find hundreds of encouraging, motivational blog posts on a variety of subjects. You can find all of my books, which can also be found on Amazon.com, and other podcast interviews with a variety of people. I hope this helps. Please leave me a rating and a review. I can do, and so can you. Take care, and God bless.